I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
And we are from Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, but we also do that radio show that is on every Saturday morning,
Yes.
right, on 610 ESPN.
860 WWDB.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now we're walking through Bloomer's nursery. It just looks so good right now.
The perennial section looks wonderful.
Right?
It's a great time of year, huh, Len?
It is.
June.
It is.
Oh, everything's popping, huh?
Right? Butterfly weed is here.
Oh, look at that.
Right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great plant for butterflies and host plant, too.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you know what happens is not a people. When you're out. You really can't get any more. But we buy from a lot of growers. That's why some people wonder, how come you don't have all blue pots? And it's like, well, we get stuff from everybody. Right. So there's some growers do different things better.
That's
right? So what do you have that you want to talk about?
Well, I would like to talk about this butterfly bush over here, Len.
Which one?
What you just brought in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
This is a summer skies butterfly bush. It's fragrant, by the way.
Is it?
It's 5 to 6 feet wide and 4 to 5 foot tall. You don't see too many of these, do you?
Variegated.
Variegated
Variegated
leaves,
with that blue flower.
Oh, gorgeous.
Very pretty.
Very pretty, yes.
And it's not. It's like a creamy variegation. It's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's not a white.
No, it's nice, and it works well with that blue flower.
It does.
And so we're looking.
Yeah, look at that. Wow. Is that
Pretty.
gorgeous?
Pretty.
Beautiful.
Very pretty.
Very pretty.
You know, the hydrangeas are looking amazing. And you know what we're talking about butterfly bush, where there's the Miss Molly.
Yes, Miss Molly.
Now it says it's supposed to be red, but it's more of like a magenta.
Yeah, I think so, don't you?
It's as close to a red as you're going to get in a butterfly bush.
Very, very beautiful.
And we talked earlier about how that there's dwarf butterfly bush, and where a lot of people don't realize that there's like a dwarf series of different plants. Right.
And what is your favorite one?
My favorite one, I tell you what, the one that we just looked at is pretty much my favorite.
Nice, huh?
But Pugster is still my favorite.
Oh, I know.
And that comes in white, and the purple or blue is my favorite.
Yeah, it's a beauty, isn't it?
But hydrangeas.
Oh, my goodness.
Hydrangeas. Now we're going to go over here to, now this is an oak leaf hydrangea.
Yes, wonderful. It's gorgeous, isn't
Grows in the shade, will grow in the sun. I'll eat green eggs and ham everywhere. Where its foliage in the fall is a bright red.
Bright red, yes. Oh,
but look at that flower.
Oh, the flower is gorgeous.
It's incredible.
And it turns a little pinkish during the fall.
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
Now you have one of these at your own house.
Yes, I do.
And this is Ruby Slippers. This is one of the new plants that when it was first coming out, I thought, I don't know if I like it or not.
Yes.
But this is an Inspire. It's called Inspire.
Huh? This is really beautiful.
Long blooming, but it's the size.
It's like a star-shaped, isn't it?
But no, it's the size of the flowers.
Look at that.
And it doesn't look like a regular, regular hydrangea.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
But it looks different. It looks different. You know what?
Huh?
Yeah. I own the place. I can break a flower. Don't tell the boss. Don't tell Carl.
You got to buy it.
Yeah, right. I already did. But what I'm going to show you is that this flower, if you look at how that flower petal is, they're more pointed. Right?
Yes.
And that what I'm going to show you, and again, this is Hydrangea Inspire. If you put it next to, we're going to go by some of the other pinks, and as we go by, you're going to see plenty of blue. But this is what people think of when they think of that hydrangea flower. But look at the difference in how that flower shape is.
Yes, totally different. It's a little bit more open, but this is.
But it's pointed.
It's pointed, yeah.
It's like star shaped. Yeah, different.
A little different, huh?
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's great. A little different.
Yep.
Yeah, a little different.
Yep. And there's pure white hydrangeas, which, again, it's the mop head type, like the ones that we're passing through right here are macrophyllus, like you had mentioned. Now, there's also the smooth hydrangea. That's this. This is Invincible Spirit. God, they're beautiful plants.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
You know, it's hard to get perspective on these videos all the time.
It is.
But this is Invincible Spirit, okay? And there's actually a second series.
Wow.
But this is what's called a smooth hydrangea. Wow. So if you look at that petal, that's a little different.
It is.
Now I have hiding my pool filter,
right.
which should hide my entire pool because I don't have it going right now, is I have a series of white of the smooth type hydrangeas.
Oh, you do? Oh, wow.
Yep. And I haven't touched them in years.
No kidding.
Just
really.
leave them alone.
It's really very delicate, huh, Len? The flowers?
It looks it on when you go close up,
but
from a distance, you know, and again, it's just loaded with flowers.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then here we are. This looks like limelight, or is this firelight?
This is a fire. No, this is Pinky Winky.
Pinky Winky. There you go. Now, the ones that you see here are Paniculata, where they're panicle type hydrangea, where they have white flowers that fade to different colors, different shades of pink, like limelight, for instance. That firelight, we'll hold that up there for a minute. So I can
firelight. This is the panicle.
And that firelight will get that reddish color as it fades. So it's not like where it's a fresh bloom, but the white will fade.
Yeah, so white starts out white and then turns really deep.
Right, and these are little limes.
This is a lime. These are little limes. Yeah.
These are little limes. It's your favorite, you said. And then big limes, right? Yeah. So many different types of hydrangeas these days. And then here we go, like Endless Summers, and there's that, like this is the original Endless Summer. And then you have there, that's Let's Dance. And it's more of that intense blue. Yeah. You want to use aluminum sulfate if you're wanting to keep your hydrangeas blue.
This is a bloomer too.
Oh yeah, most of them are these days. Most of them are. And now, what is this variety right here? Because this is more of like a pink, but it's a blush pink.
This one right here.
What is it called?
This is Sister Teresa.
Sister Teresa comes out like a pure white. Like we've got some small flowers here, if I can get into. But as it opens, it'll go more and have a little blush pink into it.
Yeah, a little blush
very
pink.
pretty.
Very pretty. Yeah.
Very pretty. Very pretty. And here, this is some of that Calicarpa.
Oh,
where the beauty berry.
Beauty berries.
Now this is what normally it looks like. But the one that, I guess, what is it? It's not. It's Pearl Glam.
Pearl Glam.
Is this one right here, where it's that red leaf. Red leaf versus the traditional green leaf. That's running my favorite plant right now. Yeah. Right, and then this is that blue mist spirea with the yellow leaves. Just something a little different.
A little different, yeah. A little different.
That's cool. We try a little different. You know, there's so much in the nursery right now, and like this is a variety. Like we never know if it's a perennial or it's a shrub. Right now, we're selling it as a shrub.
That's right.
It's a plant you see down south used an awful lot. Mm-hmm. You know, it's Fatia. It's an
evergreen.
So it says. You know, that's where I want to see it go through New Jersey winter. But even if it should defoliate, it will come back as if it were a perennial. So, lots of hollies. There is. Roses are looking tremendous.
Wow. It's all right through the Elax.
Yeah.
All the Japanese hollies.
Yeah, lots of Japanese hollies. Euonymus. Azaleas.
Oh, my God.
Right.
We love the azaleas, huh?
Yeah. And then roses.
Oh, yeah. Look at all the roses. Wow. They're really popping.
They really are. And it's the David Austins we had in early, and that we went and we got a series from another grower that they're not necessarily David Austins, but the flower type is similar to an Old English rose.
Oh, goodness.
Very fragrant.
Very fragrant.
There's that yellow.
Oh, look at that yellow, huh?
And again, not a David Austin, but a lot of the same characteristics of a David Austin. Large petal count, big open flowers.
And these are easy to take care of, aren't they?
Yep. hassle-free.
Hassle-free. We like hassle-free.
You know, and we're not going to give much time to it, but knockouts, I mean, what can you say?
Landscape.
They've taken over the world. Drift, like here's some, we've got some leftover David Austins here.
Yeah, a couple of David Austins.
Right, Winchester Cathedral. And the demand was very strong, so that's why we got that other Old English type. Like here we go, we're right back to it. Look at that flower. Like, and this is at, you know, it's not quite post bloom yet, but
wow, look at that. It's amazing.
You know, at one time, roses were the only flower that you could say flowered all summer long, and it came back, and it was, you know, now with a lot of the work that the developers have done, now there's a whole bunch of different types. You and I were talking about this plant. This is one of those Dr. Seuss plants.
Dr. Seuss.
Right. This plant gets a ball type flower, and it looks like, you know, something from Mars, where
it does.
When it does flower, let me see if I can get a close up of
bush,
this.
Len?
Yes, and we really haven't had it that often.
Yeah.
But it's just something that's like, you see that that flower?
Wow.
All of those little balls that you see are going to be those little white puff balls. They almost resemble to me like say a dandelion.
Oh yeah.
When you blow the dandelions all over the place, and then you have to use weed and feed. Right.
That's right.
But they're a nice little plant.
Oh, it's a great plant.
Great leaf color.
Yeah.
And certainly a conversation piece.
Sure. Nobody has this one around here.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
Magical moonlight.
Magical moonlight. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to have one of these.
Yeah. What? Hey. I can arrange that.
I know you can.
I can arrange that. Lots of grasses.
Oh, wow. Grasses are beautiful.
You know, let's talk about, it's getting to pool time now.
It is, yeah.
Where I don't want to see my neighbor. So, American Pillar Arborvitae.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about American Pillar Arborvitae.
What? Great plant.
It was developed by a landscaper, right? And that landscaper was down in Georgia, and that he developed it all on his own because it's narrow. Now, I'm going to pull back a little bit, Julio. Go ahead. Tell me about that plant. It's a narrow grower.
Narrow, 3 foot around that area.
Right. But it's more like a green giant as opposed to an emerald green, where it stays almost the width of an emerald green, but yet gets to be the height of a green giant.
Yeah,
so a replacement for Leyland Cypress, like, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of Leyland's.
You're talking fast grower here, man.
Fast grower, respects its borders as far as not getting to where you got to move out because it's already now 20 foot wide. It's a great plant.
Great plant, yeah.
Great plant.
Keep your neighbors away a little bit.
Well, it's not that you don't like your neighbors, but there are times where you don't want somebody looking out the backyard of, you know,
privacy, huh?
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, it's like you don't want to feel guilty that you invited other friends over.
Right.
Right?
Sure.
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what, the nursery is looking fantastic.
It is. What a great time. Huh?
And what do we always say on the radio show? You can always plant.
Sure.
You can always plant.
Doesn't matter when.
Right. Like, think about it. If you selected your plants in March and planted them,
correct,
you still have to water them. Whether you planted them in March or you planted them now, you still have to water.
Yes. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness.
Right. We did
St. Johnswort.
We did a post of that, and that I always say buttercup type flower.
Buttercup.
Yep. One of our growers has this fantastic strain of St. Johnswort.
Does it?
I just love it. And you see how big that flower is.
It's big.
It almost looks like a daffodil.
It does.
Oh, and there we go. Royal red. There's royal red.
Royal red again.
Buddleia. Yeah. And then and those are southern magnolias. That's that narrow southern magnolia, right? Yeah. Very nice. Right? Yeah, that's a little gem that they don't get real wide. I have a gigantic one at home, and it's too big. It's grown into other spaces, and it sheds real bad. This one will stay fairly narrow.
That's great.
Yeah. And azaleas, right?
Oh my goodness.
Unsung hero of the landscape.
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Every color we have it here.
Yeah. And that we have the repeat blooming series, the Encore series as well.
Yes, we did.
But I tell you what, it is time to get in the garden.
It is. This is it right here, folks. We have every variety you want.
Right.
Just about.
But it's also, everybody's been stuck inside.
Oh, yeah.
And to go back out in the yard and to be able to plant some things and to do some things.
Sure.
It's time.
It's time, yeah.
It's time, and it makes you feel better.
It does.
My gosh, you said you went and you did your neighbor's yard, you did your yard,
yes.
You did your church's landscape.
Uh-huh.
Oof.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm embarrassed. I think I turned on the television and sat down. I could practice what I preach.
Oh, my goodness.
But I know that I want my front done, that we're going to do a cutting garden out front. So
that'd be great.
Look at these. These are those flowering onion, the Millennium series.
Look at that. They're starting to pop.
Yards Brewery in Philadelphia had these planted all along up. When you walk into Yards, you actually have to park back by where the. You went with me. We met Steve. Hey, Steve. We always mention you on these things, you and Melissa. But we met Steve at Yards, and as we were walking up, these were in bloom, and they were spaced out pretty far apart, about 2 or 3 feet apart. So you looked at the individual plant. Very cool.
Very nice.
And it has that. It's a dwarf type of flowering onion. Or a lot of people are used to that one that gets real big, and it has that great big obnoxious big flower. But
yep, this is
nice.
A 20-incher.
Right. Hollyhocks.
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 An old classic, huh, Len?
It's great.
Look at the
right.
Coreopsis. Oh, moonbeam. They're wonderful.
And there it is, purplicious.
Wow.
My favorite.
Veronica.
Yeah, I love
beautiful.
Veronica. It's neat and tidy. That's why I like it. And daylilies are growing all over. Drives me crazy is about when people ask, what's the difference between a daylily and a tiger lily? And it's why do you want a tiger lily?
Yeah.
Because tiger lilies sometimes are a little messy. But where daylilies will rebloom, and they have a lot of things. Now we have some oriental lilies that are here, like the stargazers.
Yeah.
I love stargazers. Our logo is based on stargazer.
It is.
It is.
Oh, yes. We have some that are flowering now.
Stargazers?
Yep.
All right. Well, I thought we were going to wrap up. Let's look at those first.
Yeah, we want to see that.
Nope. Japanese maples. Didn't you say today that these were the biggest, hottest thing of the year?
Sellers, yes. Hottest sellers. Everybody wants them.
Right. And these are this blue Arizona cypress. That spiraled. Nice.
I passed it right here.
No, those aren't. The stargazers aren't blooming yet.
Almost.
All right.
Almost.
But the Asiatics are. So they're coming. They're coming. That's why I was surprised. But got lots and lots. And still, we're packed with annuals, too.
Gorgeous.
Right here was my favorite of the year.
This one right here?
Yeah, it's a tree. It's a tree form of the double knockout rose. Right. And just in a combo. Nice. Easy peasy. Make it look like you know what you're doing. And just can go wild. There's Kevin watering. Wave, Kevin. It's one thing, just add water. And herbs. Now, we talked about this on the radio show last year. This proven winner, and gosh, I say it every time I talk about proven winners, how much I hate them. Mm-hmm. Just because they seem to be taking over everything. Proven Winners is a program where any grower, not any grower, but growers can buy the pot, they buy the label, and they buy the plant cutting, and they grow that. But they still have to be a good grower in order to have good success with Proven Winners. So they're not like all the same. But this basil I had growing in a pot, in a window box. In a window box. Proven Harvest Amazon basil. And I used it all summer long, and I'm going to plant it again. I haven't had a chance to do my window boxes yet. So I'm going to plant it again because it kept clean and there was no issues. It didn't go to seed real quick, and I harvested leaves, and what do they call that kind of chiffonade? When you go and you roll up the leaf of basil and then slice it, and it makes little ribbons. All right, I'm showing off. But
we just went by the coleus here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Coleus. but we still have vegetables and everything. Lots of hanging baskets.
Out there, you want to start? We got it.
Yeah.
We got your vegetables right here.
And pots through the weekend, 40% off.
40% off. Great price.
Yeah.
We got plenty of it.
Yeah, we do. We do.
All colors too.
That's right. The rainbow.
Yes.
Here you go, Julio. We're getting a good shot of the coleus.
Oh, look at that. My goodness.
I mean, right now, like sometimes during certain times of the year, some garden centers, not bloomers per se, but they get their inventory dwindles down. But like we have everything from Mandevilla to you name it, house plants.
Is this gorgeous or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of purple, huh, Ed?
Yeah, we do. We do.
This is June Alzheimer's month.
That's right. It's Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, and Bloomers has a fundraiser going where we're donating all the proceeds to a variety of hanging basket that has specific colors, just for that.
Yes.
So
great cause.
Yep. We're still. I wish they were making better headway, but fortunately they are not.
Hello.
All right. Well, I'm Lynn Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
And you've just had a tour of Bloomer's Home and Garden. Hope you enjoyed it.